Podcast. Welcome back to another great week here on the Outdoor Drive Podcast for episode 179. This is your boy East Coast Trev, and I'm joined by my good buddy and good something or other, Mr. Madman Mardik. Ooh, it's that time of the year.
We're on our way to Harrisburg, baby.
That's it. We are on the road to Harrisburg.
My alcohol is fucking terrible.
That is, dude. You gotta at least do it right.
I gotta get Mark to make me one.
I know, man. You know, you just gotta rip it sometimes. It's almost turkey season, and
I practice in the shower a lot.
Is that what you do? You practice?
Sounds better, the acoustics.
Oh, is that what it is?
Then I come outside and it sounds like shit.
You know, like you gotta rip on it, dude.
Yeah.
You know, you know, you'll understand someday. I mean, are you ready for Harrisburg, dude?
I'm fucking jacked, bro.
It's like my favorite time of the year.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
It's one of those shows that I just want to be there.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, it's going to be good. What are you looking forward to the most?
Dude, honestly, for me, this year, it's just everybody going to be there this year.
Yeah.
Like, this is Harrisburg, you guys all know, is the start of the Outdoor Drive Podcast. And now having the new crew there, we're going to start there again. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm pumped, dude. I'm super pumped. I love seeing everybody. I love shaking hands with everybody. Zeus is going to be there. Josh Stubbs.
I can't wait to see them boys.
You know, them crew. And from Elevate, we got, you know, everybody's going to be there, man. I can't wait. You know, our good buddies. Sean Polk is going to hang out. We got, you know, Dan Smeltz. There's a ton of people that are going to be there that we're going to be hanging out with. So, I just love show season. And because we just get to see and hang out with everybody.
Right.
You know? I mean, it's just the way that it goes, dude, you know?
Get some Amish stuffed bread.
Oh, the Amish stuffed pretzels, bro. I think it's what everybody looks forward to is the Amish stuffed pretzels.
I don't look forward to the lines.
I don't look forward to...
Everybody's got to get them pretzels.
Dude, they're the best pretzels in the world.
Yep.
You know what comes along with Amish stuffed pretzels, right?
The pickles?
No, cold beer.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you, but I like cold beer.
Apparently, I like pickles.
Yeah, I guess so. I see where your mind is and where mine is, so I guess we're on different playing fields, but we'll keep it at that, dude.
I know one thing, your diet's not going to go too well this weekend.
I know, dude, and I've been, like, really killing it, dude. I've been in the gym every single morning at 6:30. You know, like you, I call you, what up, Margaret? Good morning, man. What are you doing? Just getting out of bed? No, dude, I've been at the gym for 2 hours. What do you mean? Been killing it over there, dude.
Crushing it.
I haven't been shed hunting, so that's why.
Yeah.
I've been spending my time in there.
That's the one thing about sucks of going to Harrisburg this weekend is no shed hunting.
Yeah, no, I know. Because this is like my kickoff weekend, dude. Yeah. It's like this week is when I kick off. And it's been taking me a while to get back in the woods and do some shed hunting just because I don't want to be pushing those deer around, but it's all good. You guys, you've been crushing it, you and Rip, bro?
Yeah, well, last weekend kind of sucked, though. We scooped one. We got hit with that Arctic blast, which was just brutal.
It ruined everything.
Right.
It ruined the trapping world.
I took a quick blast Saturday, and we scooped one quick, which is good. And then I got a phone call from work. We had a bunch of pipes freeze and pipes burst and had emergencies all over town. So I wasn't on call, but it was way too much for one guy to handle. So my boss asked me to come in. So I went in Saturday for, I don't know, like 4 hours. Whatever. It was all good. Came home, got up Sunday morning. Me and Rip took off for the woods again. And I was like 2 miles from my truck. And my boss called again. You know, hey, Steve, sorry to bother you. But, you know, you want to come in again? And I'm like, all right. So
if I have to.
Back to the truck, dropped Rip off at the house, went back and work. I ended up being at work for 8 hours on Sunday, too.
Do you know what that means, though, that you went to work for 8 hours?
I get taxed more?
No, you get more Amish pretzels.
Yeah.
Don't you want more Amish pretzels?
I might have to have a couple, but no, I'm looking forward to it, man.
It's a fun show, dude.
Yeah.
I think it's because there's just so many people there. There's so many different vendors. The new things on the market are there. The fishing stuff's there. Everything's there, man. It's just I don't know. It's one of my favorite shows. And then you know what happens when we come back from there? We jump right into Springfield.
Yeah, I think we got 1 week off, and then we're at Springfield.
Dude, I can't wait. Springfield's going to be a great time. Then we have a couple weeks off, and then we're in Mohegan. So we're, it's show season is here, man. I love show season because it brings up, it boosts the morale because they're so excited. You get to see everybody. Everyone comes out,
Meet
hangs
new
out,
people.
tells stories,
Yeah.
meet new people, potentially new listeners. Like, it's awesome.
Old listeners that you never
listeners.
met.
Right. And you know what? And now with the new crew, these guys are dropping a new video today on the YouTube side. Like, well, it's not
Well, it
a
would
new.
have been
It's,
yesterday. Podcast land.
no, it's today. When they're listening to this. Thursday. Oh, yeah, you're right. It would have been yesterday. Yeah, you're right. I thought I was trying to be smart.
Podcast land is weird.
I was trying to be smart. Yeah, but it's a cool world. I like
Yeah,
that
it's
world.
just weird. It's like the Matrix or some shit.
It is like the Matrix.
So.
You know what? Thinking of the Matrix, let's go see our man across the pond.
Okay.
Oi, you! Yeah, you! Put down that mug of Joe and get your lips wrapped round one of these bad boys. That's right. Nor'easter game calls. Give it a blow. Nor'easter game calls. Get 'em in close. This winter, use Huntworth's Heat Boost products for impeccably warm body parts, guaranteed. Get more for less with Huntworth. New Era Archery, home of the Zeus Broadheads as well as the Hera. Let the Zeus loose with New Era Archery. I would just like to thank our generous sponsors. Back over to you, Trevor.
Thank you, Manish. We appreciate you, and we thank those sponsors. If you guys haven't gone and checked them out, make sure you guys head on over to their websites and go and check those guys out. I'm going to throw another one out to you also. Bojangles Baits, they're giving us a new promo code over there. Bojangles Baits makes all kinds of great freshwater and saltwater baits, and he was kind enough to give us a promo code. And as I look into the future, the promo code is... Oh, geez. I can't find it. That's not good. I remember him telling me it, but I can't remember what it was. Jeez Louise.
Well, that's because we were at Cabela's the other day, and you're on the phone with him for about the whole time we were at Cabela's.
It's Outdoor Drive.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Outdoor Drive.
Not the Outdoor Drive?
No, it's just Outdoor Space Drive. So that's the promo code.
Is it
And
cap sensitive?
I don't think so. I don't believe so. But we got that nice little promo code. You guys want to get some baits and stuff like that for you guys ready to get in on that, all that good stuff, and go see out my boy Bo over there. So,
Dude, I freaking love our sponsors, man.
they're all good people,
It's so
dude.
good.
Yeah.
Good relationships, good people. They support us. We support them.
That's all that matters.
And the new
man.
intro,
Yeah.
I'm sure most of the listeners have heard that by now or seen
I've
that
seen
by
that.
now. But
Well, if you haven't, you're
Lou
missing
did
out.
a great job with that. That's
did.
the thing's fire.
Yeah, dude, the team is on fire, dude. They're doing some really amazing things. Dude, you got any Killer's Corners?
I got a couple.
All right, kill them up.
I got Tough Huffman with a Texas public land buck, which it can't be easy because I think isn't 98% of Texas privately owned?
Yep.
So public land Texas buck. We got William Shaw with a nice buck.
I'm going to tell you something about William Shaw. William Shaw is...
Tell me something about William.
AKA Fingers is his name. William was one of the original members of ctbowhunting.com.
Okay.
He's gone through some stuff, cancer, so on and so forth, and hasn't hunted in a couple of years. But, man, his spirit is still there. We talk about hunting. He's always telling stories, sharing pictures, just living the good old days, man. Not always able to get out there, but really cool dude. He was going through some hard times. And, listen, I'm not looking for notoriety for this by any means, but he was going through some cancer treatment, and I didn't have a lot of money. And the way that I met him was, we got to chit-chat, and he was going through that, and we actually, CT Bow Hunting, ended up donating his hunting license for the year for him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago, but he's always been a close friend where, online friend, and you just see him, and he's just always out there getting it. So when I saw that picture, it kind of sparked something in me, man. It really did. It made me feel really good.
That's awesome. And then I got Justin Childress. Him and his dad doubled up on some deer, and I think it was his first buck or second deer, something like that. So that was a good post, and we appreciate you sharing that with us too. So shout out to you guys.
The other thing, guys, if you guys aren't on the Outdoor Drive Facebook page, if you go through the Outdoor Drive If you type in the Outdoor Drive, there's two different ones. There's our page, and then there's our group. So guys, get in on that. Make sure to share, tell some friends. If you guys are on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the notification button, because there's a lot of really cool things coming from there. If you guys are on iTunes, 5-star review would be absolutely great. Make sure you hit the subscribe button there. Spotify, tell your friends, man. Spread the word. We really appreciate it. TheOutdoorDrive.com is getting revamped right now. We are going to have merchandise. We're working on merchandise that is coming down the pipe. When we get back from Harrisburg, shortly thereafter, we will be releasing it so that all that stuff will start to go for sale. You guys will start to see all that, the new logos. We're actually rocking the new hats that we actually picked up tonight. They look absolutely great. We got some sweatshirts in the make, the T-shirts.
Tomorrow I'm picking up the little prototype hoodies and T-shirts for the crew, so...
It's coming together, guys. So just get ready. Make sure that you're paying attention on all social media platforms because it's about to drop. It's literally about to drop.
It's coming together. It's been a stressful couple of long time, but it's coming together now and just in time.
Absolutely, dude. Speaking about time, why don't we get on over to the news for your cruise from our good buddy, Mr. Mike Salter.
Send it on over there.
All right, guys, why don't we buckle up and see what's going on in the world of news with Mr. Mike Salter.
Hey, everyone. We're going to start this one off with a couple opportunities in Vermont. First, registration is open for the Green Mountain Conservation Camp. These are one-week camps held at Lake Bomoseen and Bud Lake for kids age 12 to 14 who want to learn about Vermont's wildlife and gain outdoor skills. Participants will learn about fish and wildlife conservation, ecology, forestry, orienteering, safe firearm and archery techniques, swimming, canoeing, fishing, and more. Natural resource professionals share information on their programs and take participants out for field activities. Those 16 and younger who have previously attended can also register for advanced sessions, which include more in-depth activities about backpacking, camping, natural resources, and unique hunting and fishing techniques. The programs run weekly from June 18th through August 18th with a cost of $250 a week, which includes food, lodging, and equipment. For more information and registration, those are available on VermontFishandWildlife.com. Next, Vermont Fish and Wildlife has teamed up with Wildlife Forever to bring the National Fish Art Contest to Vermont. The contest is open to kids 5 to 18, and students will select a fish species to research, create an illustration of the species, and write a one-page creative writing essay. Essays are not required for those ages kindergarten to third grade. Winners will be awarded in 4 age categories from kindergarten to third grade, 4th to 6th grade, 7th to 9th, and 10th to 12th grade. There will be prizes for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in each of those groups. Entries must feature a species from Vermont and must be submitted by February 28th via the online form at wildlifeforever.org. Now to Florida, an opportunity for use. This weekend, February 11th, will be FWC's second Youth Waterfowl Hunting Day. Youths 15 and younger will have the opportunity to hunt ducks, light geese, Canadian geese, mergansers, coots, and moorhens while supervised by a non-hunting adult 18 years or older. In addition to hunting private property with landowner permission and on most water bodies with public boating access, the FWC is also offering opportunities at TM Goodwin Public Small Game Hunting Area, Stormwater Treatment Area STA 1W, STA 2, and STA 3-4, Gowanus River Lake Ponte Verde, and 1A FEB Impoundment. These additional areas include family-oriented activities, including raffles and free food, so some great opportunities to get youth out hunting. Florida is also participating in the National Fish Art Contest, like Vermont, has the same deadline as Vermont of February 28th. And there are some different categories in Florida. Category 1 is for freshwater species, which include largemouth bass, striped bass, black crappie, bluegill, red ear and spotted sunfish, channel cat, Florida gar, chain pickerel, and bowfin. And category 2 is saltwater, which includes snook, redfish, spotted sea trout, flounder, tarpon, mahi-mahi, Spanish mackerel, hogfish, queen snapper, and black grouper. Entries for Florida must also be submitted electronically through wildlifeforever.org. Now to Oklahoma, where the Wildlife Youth Camp application period is open. The camp will include information on wildlife and fisheries management and conservation, law enforcement, fishing, archery, wildlife ID, rifle shotgun shooting, ropes course, self-defense, deer, turkey, waterfowl hunting, and law enforcement techniques. The camp runs from June 18th to 23rd at the Oklahoma Biological Station in Lake Texoma. The camp is free to attend and is for those 14 to 16 years old. Prospective campers must fill out an application form and write a 75-word essay describing why they want to attend, why they should be selected, and what they expect to learn. Applicants must also include a letter of recommendation from a non-family member and a recent photo of the applicant participating in an outdoor-related activity or event. Application forms can be found online at www.wildlife-department.com/education/youth-op/wildlife-youth-camp. Lastly, to Iowa, where the DNR is partnering for the second year with My Catch by Anglers Atlas to conduct a statewide walleye fishing challenge from May 1st through June 30th. This is a catch photo release tournament, which uses the My Catch mobile app to record the length of the fish. Participating anglers take a picture of the fish using a measuring device on the app. Once the fish is reviewed by the catch team, it automatically appears on a live leaderboard where anglers can see who is in the lead to win prizes. Anglers will have a chance to win weekly prizes while also contributing to research to help improve walleye fishing in the state. Participating anglers are encouraged to submit all walleye catches in May and June through the app. And not to worry, the mobile app does maintain anonymous locations, so your honey hole stays a secret. There is a $25 fee to register for that tournament, and you can register at www.anglersatlas.com/event/680/2023-Iowa-fishing-challenge-2023. As always, if you have any news to send along to me, it'd be greatly appreciated. You can reach out to me at Mike Salter on Facebook or bearded_bowhunter21 on Instagram. Enjoy the rest of your ride.
Thank you, Mike. With everything going on in Congress and everything like that, man, this news segment is very important, and we thank you for doing that. So, you got anything else to add, dude, or should we just get into the Ducks in the Bay experience with our good buddies over there in Iowa, Alex and Ryan?
Yeah, this was a fun one, man. This was a wild ride.
It was.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was a really cool podcast. It was fun to hunt with them, and you know, those guys get to experience something a little bit different. It was really fun. We kind of dig into that, and then
a lot of laughs.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I do want to touch on, and not to spoiler alert, because you're going to hear it in a minute, but there'll be a part in the podcast that I want you guys to really think about in your own personal life. Is Alex likes to talk a lot about getting out of your comfort zone, and that can be different for everybody. In Alex's sense, it's a lot of traveling and seeing and doing different things and different species and stuff. But it really made me think about how you can get out of your comfort zone just with your everyday hunting, whether it be maybe you always hunt private land and get out of your comfort zone and go hunt some public, or maybe you're preset. You only hunt presets. And maybe it means dive into being mobile or something like that. You know, like taking yourself out of that comfort zone, you really start to learn more and really hone your skills. And it can do a lot for you as an individual, forcing yourself to getting out of your comfort zone. And that was one thing that she really got my wheels turning about listening to her talk.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the end of the podcast, towards the end, is some of the best content that we've had in a long time.
This podcast just kept getting better and better.
It did. It really did.
Yeah.
And you know, when you record the podcast or talk about the podcast, at first you're like, oh man, it's kind of rocky. Like, where do you start the conversation? But when that flow starts to go, you'll start to understand. And this podcast gets better with time. No doubt.
Like a fine wine.
Like a fine wine. There was a country singer. Never mind. Let's get these guys on the phone. All right. We're back on the phone with Alex and Ryan. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
How are y'all?
Good. You guys are very chipper for this evening.
Always.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I caught you off guard.
Well, and I'm more of a night owl, and I'm just like, this is like my time. That's perfect.
This works out well.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like forced to be a morning person, but I'm truly a night person.
I'm like neither. I'm like permanently exhausted pigeon.
Oh. Pigeons are exhausted?
I don't know. You say night owl or early bird, so permanently exhausted pigeon sounds good, right?
I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's turn this key. Let's get this underway. Why don't you guys tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you guys do?
Ryan, you want to go ahead and go first?
Sure. So my name's Ryan Fagan. We're from Dubuque, Iowa, and I work for our local school district, but I do pretty much anything I can outdoors. Hunt, fish, trap, hike. I like foraging. Pretty much anything I can get my hands on, get me outside.
Long walks on the beach, stuff like that too, right?
Yeah, that too. I like all of it, man. Even
Except
the real
for beach
romantic
vacations. Oh, get out of here. We're doing a beach vacation with my mom, and he's like, so what are we doing? Because we're going down to Surfside Beach, Texas for spring break. It's like, I have a younger sister. She's 12. And they're like, they booked this Airbnb. You can literally walk across the road and be on the beach. And Ryan's like, well, what are we going to do? Do we have plans? And she's like, sit on a beach. And he's like, that's it?
I don't blame him.
I'm with Ryan on that one. I can't sit on a beach.
No, I'm the same exact way as Ryan.
I have ADD. I have to go do something.
Yeah, I can do that for all of like 20 minutes. And then I'm like, okay, that was fun. Let's go do something.
Yeah, same.
And I'm basic, and I'll just walk the beach trying to find shells and rocks and everything like that to bring home so they can just hang out in a plastic bag in my office.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'll do something crafty with them at some point or another.
That's right. Why don't you tell everybody who you are, Alex?
So I am Alex Fagan, or Alexandra Fagan, as some might see on Facebook or Instagram. I am also born and raised from Dubuque, Iowa, and I am a warranty administrator for a diesel shop dealership here. We've got about, I think it's 25 or 27 locations across the Midwest here.
That's awesome. So you guys are kind of both kind of in the same realm of work.
Yeah.
Yep.
I actually started off as a diesel mechanic with this company and worked my way through. I started off as a tech, then I was a parts person, then I went to service writing, and then I transitioned into this warranty spot back in 2020.
That's awesome. Nothing better than that.
Yeah, right? Staying with the company and everything, it's good shit.
Getting out of getting out of turning the wrench and kind of doing something a little bit better than that.
Yeah, Ryan likes it when my hands are still soft, so we know how mechanics' hands can get.
Jeez. I'm going to leave that one alone. It's probably best for everybody.
That's a hard one to leave alone.
Yeah. I know. It's a toughie. It's definitely a toughie. So the reason why we had you guys on, because you guys had the Ducks on the Bay experience. You guys were lucky enough to win that, one of our giveaways that good old Danny from Ducks on the Bay gave away. So you guys made the trip, or the trek, I guess it would be, from Iowa up here to the great place of the Northeast, of the land of liberals, as I would call it. So why don't you guys take us through kind of like what you guys went through in your trip, and let's get into the hunt so everyone can kind of know what you guys experienced.
Yeah, so we drove from Iowa up to Rhode Island. What was it? It was 2.5 days, I think. We left on the 31st. So my job is very dependent on the month, end of the year, bonuses and everything like that. So I actually ended up working like a 12 or 14-hour day on the 31st, or on the 30th, because the 31st was on a Saturday. That way we could get up and we could leave as soon as possible the next day. So, and then we just kind of got in the car, we loaded everything down and just hit the road and kept driving.
It's a miserable
we're drivers
ride.
We're drivers instead of flyers. So we were actually supposed to go on we did go on a sandhill crane hunt last year this time. And we were all set to fly. We talked to our buddy. He had guns, he had ammo for us, everything ready to rock and roll. We didn't need chest waders or anything. And all of a sudden, 2 days or 3 days before our flight was supposed to leave, they started canceling them and rebooking. and then canceling and rebooking. Well, Ryan and I were both supposed to work that day that we left. So finally I had to call American Airlines and I was like, none of this is going to work. And they're like, well, that sucks. We'll just cancel your flight and you just have a trip credit with us. And so we ended up actually driving down to Texas that time. So
there's something.
but
I mean,
yeah,
you are
ever
on the
since then-
drive. You are on the drive.
Right.
We like to drive everywhere, so we totally get it and understand that. It's safer on the ground, honestly, in my opinion.
Alex just
Yeah.
doesn't do planes, so she doesn't like not being able to hear what's going on.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. I'd
Yeah.
rather drive anyways. The scenery, the good things that you get to see, it's way
Yeah.
better. It really, honestly, is better. So you guys made the trek up here. When you guys got here, what happened? Like you guys came into town, hung out, and then you guys hung out with Danny the night before.
Yeah, for a little bit. We met him up at the bar. They were eating some dinner after what was it? He had a morning hunt that lasted pretty late because it got really choppy.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, he was
then-
up in Boston, I think.
Oh yes, Boston, the good
Yeah.
old Boston,
Boston Harbor.
Boston Harbor,
Boston.
Boston Harbor.
Yeah.
So the next morning we all got to meet up, and
Mhm.
that was the first hunt. Why don't you take us through kind of like what your experience and kind of what you were thinking? Because I know this is probably, especially being from the center of the country, to come up here and be on the ocean for the first time was probably an experience.
Yeah. So the closest thing we have to like ocean is we have like the Great Lakes a couple hours away from us.
Mhm.
So that's similar water quality. Like if it's windy, it's choppy. But nothing like being out on the ocean. Being out on the ocean was a totally new experience. It was a blast. I didn't really know what to expect, but it was a lot of fun.
Alex,
I feel like we really tried to come in with as much of a clear mind as possible. You know, we got in late. We got in late on Sunday and then checked into our hotel Sunday night and then met up with Danny Monday. So it was nice. We were able to get kind of like a lay of the land and drive around a little bit and do some of the touristy things around Bristol. That was nice.
Mhm.
But yeah, just trying to come in with a really clear mind because really we only duck hunt the Mississippi River or backwaters. And that's a completely different thing. You know, you're walking out, you're setting up your own decoys, trying not to fall, you know, through muskrat runs.
Or beaver runs.
Yeah, you know, you're really grassed in, you know, if you don't have the right camo on, forget about it kind of deal. Like, so we were like, okay, just try and be as open to suggestions as possible because this is a completely different deal for us.
Mm-hmm.
and then what happened when you got on the boat and you didn't have to wear camo? You didn't have to, like, it's totally different. It's like 180-degree difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I was asking Danny and I was like, oh, well, how deep is the water? You know, like, why do I have to bring my chest waders? And he was like, oh, it's about like 40 or 50 feet deep. He's like, your chest waders are mainly just so like you can keep the moisture off of you.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, that's the most important thing when you're going to be on the boat for a prolonged period of time. You know, you get splashed, a wave comes over, you're pulling ducks out of the water. The last thing you want to do is just be drenched to the bone.
So what did you think when the sun first came up for the first time on the ocean and the ducks are starting to land in their decoys?
I literally just shit my pants. Well, shit my waders.
I've never seen ducks work like that. Never seen them work like that. They just come in and they're like on a rope. If they're coming in, they're coming in. And it's not like that here. Like around here, they'll circle you 4, 5, 6 times before they commit to coming into the decoys. And anything out there, if it comes like it's coming straight to you, it's going to be 4 foot off the water coming by you at Mach 5, or it's going to land.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's nothing circling you 5 or 6 times at 100 feet before they decide to come in. They're either coming or they're not. And that was pretty cool to see. It was really cool to see them actually commit to the decoys more than half the time. Because to have them actually land in your decoys up here is not, in my experience, very common either.
And one of the other things is when I remember it, because we were trying to explain to you, like, watch out on the horizon, and like somebody watch left, somebody watch right, and you're like, what do you mean? Like, you don't look up in the air? And like, no, the ducks don't come from high up in the air. Everything is very like water lined.
Yeah. Seeing where we hunt on the river, like, you can watch geese come over the bluff off to the side of you, and they might be 300 or 400 foot up in the air. They're like a speck in the sky. And if you got the right spread and they're wanting to come back when they come over the bluff, they very well could come from that high to come land in your decoys, or at least come take a look. You know, if they come over the bluff and they're wanting to be back in the river, they're going to swing through and come down to you. But it's so weird to look straight out instead of looking up and around, because they don't fly low around here. Nothing does. But everything's shot at so much here too that they're pretty wary birds. They get pretty smart pretty quick.
I think that was the hardest part for me, is because I'm so used to hunting on the river and being like, your head has to be on a swivel. You have to constantly be scanning, constantly be looking around you, because you never know when one might buzz by or, you know, lock up down the river. And on top of it, duck calling is very popular where we're at, because they're, you know, it's not like, oh, we like the spread will come in regardless if they're making noise or not. So it was all in all a really great learning experience. I was so nervous the entire time, and especially because I get motion sickness so bad. I'm one of those unfortunate people where if I can't stand when I'm on a boat and hit any sort of like rockiness, I'm instantly trying to toss my cookies. It's embarrassing because I love doing it so much. We found out that I was really motion sick when we went up to Algoma, Wisconsin on Lake Michigan for a salmon fishing trip, and we had choppy waters, and I just had to puke and rally the whole first day.
And took it like a champ. You didn't puke one time, I don't think, when we were duck hunting.
No, I didn't. I had one of those little patches that goes behind your ear. I was really close when we were in the ocean towards the end, just because the swells were getting so big. I mean, they were like, 3-4 feet, something like that. Like, and it's hard when you're constantly circling. You can't really focus on anything because the wind was moving us every which direction. And, you know, like, I could focus on the bridge, but at some points, like, there was nothing to look at except for open water. And I'm just like, oh, I'm going to lose my shit.
It's so true.
So
you held it together. You did hold it together. There's no question about that.
So
no. So go ahead.
Oh God.
No,
I was just going to say it was awesome. It was being able to experience both the ocean and the bay in a completely different light was amazing. It was
I think that was probably one of the better things too, like that the weather kind of sucked the first day, kind of roughed it out, but then was able to go into the bay and hunt on the second day and do a little bit something different. Like the first day we sea duck hunted, you guys got to shoot a bunch of sea ducks, and then obviously we'll go into that, but like we went into the bay and got to, you know, hunt a little bit different ducks, and it probably was better for you because you guys get to see everything and shoot a lot of different ducks while you were here and not just one species.
Yeah. I enjoyed the variety. I thought it was fun to see the different types and different methods of hunting. So.
And the sea ducks, when you guys shot your first sea ducks and they came into the boat, like, what was your thoughts? Because they're totally different than mallards.
Yeah, so the hen eider to me looks a lot like a hen mallard. They got real similar colors, minus the blue wing, obviously, but the browns are real similar, and I do think they're very pretty birds. The sea ducks are incredibly pretty birds. So that was pretty cool to see the difference in them.
Yeah.
We get pretty limited species around here. So having the variety was neat.
Well, and I never really realized, I guess I'm so naive when it comes to duck hunting outside of the Midwest that I was like, oh, well, what exactly are sea ducks? And then when we started talking about it, started looking into it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is wild. I was like, I didn't even realize there's this whole entire different, like, almost subspecies of ducks out there. You know, and then being like buzzed by the Harleys was super crazy. That was like, you could like make out their face and everything just because, and their colors, just because they would fly so close.
I remember the one, I think Ryan was in the front of the boat, and remember the one drake that came up and was like almost on the bow of the boat, and just like he totally strutted his stuff right next to the boat at like 10 yards, and it's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they're an incredible bird.
I can't believe we
and
can't kill them.
So many of them. I know, there were so many of them.
What did we see? Maybe 40 of them?
There was at least. It had to have been at least 40 of them. There was probably, I think I saw more of those than I saw of some of the ones that we could hunt. I know for sure I saw more harlequins than I saw of the longtails. You guys call them old squaw?
Old squaw, yeah. You're not allowed to call them old squaw anymore because then that's against the Indians.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. They call them now. They go. They don't call them old. Well, they still do call them old squaw, but it's actually not politically correct to call them old squaw. You have to call them longtails now because it's against like Native Americans. The old squaw. Isn't that? I don't know. Maybe it's just a duck hunting blind joke. I don't know. I mean,
it could be.
It could be, yeah. I mean, I have yet to hear anything like that, but I mean, we also don't have anything like that here, so that's not exactly like a lot of like our duck boat talk.
Right. I know that they shoot them in the Great Lakes. They do shoot longtails in the Great Lakes. I don't know if that by you guys or not, but Michigan they do. I think. I thought.
Yeah, then they might have some. I know a girl who duck hunts religiously over by Kenosha, Wisconsin. I'm sure I could talk to her and see if they have them over there.
That's crazy. So the second day, we got to do the diver hunting. And I think that's probably my favorite. Diver hunting is probably one of my favorite hunting because it's very fast-paced.
They're so dumb. And they're so dumb.
They are so dumb.
Now we know, Trev, why you like it
Oh
so
my
much.
gosh. Well, and I was so confused because like we're setting everything up just like we were for sea ducks, but then all of a sudden it was just like the first half of the day was so slow.
Yes.
You know, and then all of a sudden I think Ryan got one duck out of there.
I shot 2 out of the first layout setup. And then we moved and all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
Because we moved out of the fog and moved to a different spot. I shot 2 out of the first layout setup, and it was just like I shot one like 25 minutes after I got in the boat, and then about an hour later, I shot a second one, and then Alex sat for a half hour and didn't see anything, and we decided to move. And I got back in the layout boat, and I had my other 4 for a limit in 5 minutes. Like you guys hadn't even set your decoys up on the other side. And I had my limit in 5 minutes.
How was it for you hunting out of a layout boat?
I thought it was awesome. I don't know if I could do it in like a lot of like if it was choppy or anything.
Right.
I just I don't think it would bother me that much, but I get a little motion sick, not a lot. If I can see something, I'm fine. But like laying down and looking at the sky, being rocked around, probably wouldn't go good. But back in like the bay and stuff, it was awesome. We talked about getting one when we came back.
Oh, really?
Because I'm like, this is the coolest thing we've ever done. Because, we could tow layout boats out with us and then just hide the big boat and hunt from layouts. Layouts in fields are really popular here, shooting like Canadians in cornfields. But the layout boat was just insane because they like land like almost on top of you. And like Alex said, they're so dumb. I was sitting up reloading after shooting one and they were still trying to decoy. And it's just, it's crazy. It's a crazy amount of fun.
It almost feels like it's unfair, like it's an unfair advantage. Like you're taking advantage of them because they're just so. And I was super nervous about it, not only because of getting motion sick. Like I knew that the bay was relatively calm, but I am so used to having people call shots for me and being like, all right, take them, because I'm so inexperienced when it comes to duck hunting that all of a sudden I was in this layout boat all by myself, nobody to call my shots. I have all these birds whizzing around me, trying to pop shots off. And it took me, I don't know, it probably took me like a half an hour of birds being around me to be like, okay, I'm reading everything wrong. I need to resituate. And finally, I started just slaying them. Except for that one, my bluebill that I shot. That one was, but he was like 100 yards out, hanging out with a bunch of other ducks. And then he had swam behind me to like 50 at one point, and then swam back out. And then he started coming back, and it was like, if he comes into the spread, he's so dead. I was like, you're done. And all of a sudden he swims in, and I was like, I was like, you're capped. I'm coming for you.
It was your last duck of the day too.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Last one for a limit.
That duck was an absolute stud.
Well, and I was one bird shy, but I had to go to the bathroom when I got in the layout blind at like 11. And all of a sudden, Ryan's like, I've got my limit. And Danny's like, you better get ready. You better get ready. You're going in the layout boat. And I was like, but I gotta, and he's like, get ready. He's like, fill your pockets full of ammo and you're going to get in the layout boat. And I was like, but I've got to go to the bathroom. And he's like, driving over there. And I'm like, all right. It got to a point where I was like trying to sit up in my chest waders. I'm like, I'm going to piss my pants.
I love the Boston accent, by the way. Like the Midwest Boston accent is probably the best I've ever heard. Poor Danny.
Well, and my mom spent some time in Boston when she was she is a permissions expert or a copyright expert for a book company. So she had spent quite a bit of time out in Boston. And so she would come home and she would tell me about Boston accents and everything. And so like, that's kind of where I've learned it from. So I learned the Midwest Boston accent from my mom.
Yep.
And then just going out there, I'd just be like, I was like, people just talk to me. Cause that's all I want to hear is a Boston accent.
Can you give us your best Boston accent?
Oh God. Now that I'm on the spot.
Give us
Are you looking for your khakis or your khakis?
I love it. Was there a learning curve for you guys, like being newer to the layout boat? Like, was there a learning curve for you guys to kind of like overcome when you were in the layout boat? Because like obviously like we didn't really explain it to you. We said lay down as far as you can. When the duck comes in, shoot it. Like. Was there something that like you kind of went through to make yourself, because I know like you, Alex, like you shot at a bunch of birds, but like at first were they too far away and you weren't shooting, or you weren't shouldering the gun right? Like what was the learning curve for you to try and make yourself successful in the layout boat?
I think the biggest thing for me was just like everything had to be a fluid motion. You know, I had to basically be at the ready laying down, but when I would get up, getting up, pulling the shotgun up all at the same time and then leading was the biggest and hardest thing to learn. And it was probably the most frustrating thing too, you know, because of course Ryan lays the hammer down in 5 minutes and here I am out like a, you know, geriatric patient in a layout boat, just popping shots off, you know, and Danny's like, you get any birds out there? You know, and I'm just like, I'm like secretly crying in this layout boat. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But I was just wanted to be like, I just wanted to call it, but I was like, I can't call it. I almost had like a Clint Casper in the back of my head. Like, don't fucking settle. Don't get out of this layout boat until you at least shoot one of them. Like you have to shoot one until you can figure out if you like it or if you don't like it. You know, so finally I was like, okay, so when they're zooming past, don't shoot. They'll come back. And as soon as their feet start locking up, that's when you start shooting. So, you know, either that or I was water smacking them, you know.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
no, I think after the initial half hour of just popping shots and sucking dick, I turned around and I think I had 4 birds in like a half hour, 45 minutes. And then it got real slow. And then I had that bluebill come in around like 1. And I was like, that's it. Cause I had hit him, and he wasn't flying anymore. He was diving at that point. And I was like, get the duck. I can't do this. My bladder's going to explode. So I was like, and that'll be a good duck to end on. And it was. I mean, he was beautiful. I couldn't believe it.
It was probably one of the nicest bluebills I've ever seen. Like, it was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I know I'm like dying to take everything to a taxidermist here and get it all done.
Do you know what the best thing is? While you're trying not to pee in your waders, me, Ryan, and Danny were having the time of our lives in the boat. Like, the time of our lives.
I believe it. I'm just over here having a mental breakdown after mental breakdown, panic attack, thinking about jumping in the water. And you guys are probably just like, yeah, fuck it.
We're smoking cigars, telling stories.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
And then
that was my struggle with the.
Playing whack-a-duck with your bluebill was interesting, too. Because that took a while. Mm-hmm. That thing could cover some ground. He would dive and then pop up like 40 yards out.
And it
was just insane.
In the shallow water, because it's shallow water in that area, when in that shallow water, they can cover a lot of ground. So instead of going down, they're going out. You know, it's not like the sea ducks when they would dive down, they would virtually come back up in the same area. And that's one of the things that's different, like for you guys, hunting in the Midwest than hunting out here in the East. A lot of like our sea ducks and our diver ducks, like when you shoot one and it's on the ground, you have to then stand up and you have to reload. You have to load on it, because if you don't, you're going to lose that bird, you know? So you know, like we say, like you're going to play whack-a-mole all day long if you don't pile drive that thing for the second time. When you shoot it and it's on the water, you shoot it again instantly. And if you're not on top of it, you're going to lose. Well, you guys didn't do all that bad, though, sea duck hunting, where we didn't lose any ducks, really. I mean, we were pretty good on them and killing them right away.
Yeah, I think we lost, 2 or 3 total, and that was out of almost 4-man limit.
Right.
I think we were 1 duck shy of a 4-man limit.
Right.
And we only lost like 2, maybe a third one.
Right. So it's not overly that bad.
No.
And then you guys got to hunt a third day. So why don't you tell me about the third day? Because I didn't even hear about the third day yet. I was kind of saving it for this. So I can only imagine what happened. And I cannot wait to hear about it, honestly. Because I can only imagine what kind of show got put on for this one.
Yeah, well, so we were originally, so a little bit of backstory is because we were driving people, I have 50 state stickers for my Forerunner. And I was like, we went up to the East Coast and I was like, I want to hit as many states as possible to say that it's been done, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And so I originally told Danny, like, hey, we're going to go up to Maine Thursday morning because we left Friday morning. And, you know, thanks, blah, 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 blah. He really wanted us to go back out. I think Ryan wanted to go back out. I was kind of indifferent at that point. And so we parted ways at what's his
Billy
Buckets.
Billy the Bucket.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
At
Clam
Billy's
Man.
house, and, the Clam Man. Yeah. And all of a sudden, not even like 5 or 10 minutes later, Danny calls me and he goes, are you sure you want to go to Maine? Yeah, I want to go to Maine. He had said you're going to have to go through Boston. You either have to get up really early or go through late. He says, go through late, come out back out on the boat with us. We'll go whack some more buffleheads. It'll be a good time. I'll have you back on land by 9 a.m. So I was like, well, twist my arm, you know. So we ended up meeting Danny, I think, at his place. And then drove back out, got on the water, and I think by 9 we had 12 ducks in the boat at that point.
I think we shot 13 or 14 total because Danny took 2 or 3 home.
And you guys piled them right on.
Yeah.
Then.
Oh yeah, we it was quick.
Were you guys hunting
We
out of
were
the
in and
layout
out in,
boat?
like,
Or you guys are hunting out of the
no,
big
we
boat?
were just out of the big boat. With just the 3 of us, we just took the big boat so that we didn't have to take the time to set up the layout too.
Mm-hmm.
Since it was going to be a short morning, we were like out there and set up by like 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then we were just, I mean, they were coming like right now. And it was just like a steady trickle the whole morning. It was great. It was a ton of fun. It wasn't like the huge groups like the day before,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just steady for almost the whole morning.
And
So-
that's the thing in the morning like that. Like, so like when we had hunted the day before, we had already gone into that, we'll call it a feed